Get Rich or Die Scratching says, hey, Nick, 2 things. Last month, my channel did 500,000 views. Nice work. I tweaked my thumbnails and found great success. You were going to answer the question of how do I get views with 0 subs? Thank you for bringing me back on track. Okay. So in terms of how do you get more subscribers if you're just starting out your YouTube channel? The first thing that I want to let you know, if you're just starting your YouTube channel, is that one, you need to settle in terms of it being like typically for most people when they start on YouTube. Some people, they understand it right out of the gate. Some people, they already know how to make good thumbnails because they've been watching YouTube for a long time and they get it. Other people, you know, it takes some time in order to be like, oh, I get it now, right? Same thing with making videos, same thing with coming up with video ideas, titles, all that stuff. So one, you might be one of the people that gets it already. If that's the case, you're off to the races. If you are not, then just settle in for the long haul because you have to develop those skill sets first. Okay. So I just want to let you know that in terms of expectations. Now, in terms of actionable things that you can do if you're a new channel, here's what you do. So the very first thing that can be extremely helpful for a brand new channel is to target YouTube search results. And the reason for that is because it's the low hanging fruit. Now, I know not all content supports it, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. So for the content that does support search-based content, then you want to make not every video that you upload, because you don't want to, I mean, you can make every video that you upload for search, but you also want to try your hand at getting attention when you're getting recommended next to other videos, when you're showing up on home pages and things like that. But as part of your content strategy, which is a term, content strategy is a term that you should Google, you should deeply understand, because the idea is basically that you have a set goal, and that you're using the different ways that you do your content and the different times that you release different types of content that you do in order to bring attention to whatever it is that you're trying to do for your goal. If it's getting views, subscribers, money, whatever it happens to be. But basically, as part of your content strategy, one of the approaches that you want to take with some of your content is to make sure that you're making some search-based content. And the reason for that is because people are looking for things all over YouTube every single day. And since they're looking for things every day, all you have to do is learn how to compete against those people that are in those search results. But here's the trick. You want to go for search terms that are competitive, but they're not so competitive that you don't have a chance, and they don't have so little competition that you don't even have a chance either. In terms of like, okay, if you rank for that, it might be great in terms of like, hey, I got that #1 spot, but if nobody's actually looking for it, then it's not going to help you at all. So you have to find that balance. So one of the skills that you have to develop that I talked about earlier is keyword research. TubeBuddy can help you with that. I got a link to them in the description, or you can just go to tubebuddy.com if you don't want to go through my link, whatever. But the idea is that you learn to optimize your videos for search. You learn to make good videos for search as one of your content pillars as a way to get traffic, right? Because when it comes to YouTube, the difficult part is discovery, right? Like, how do I get my videos in front of people initially? And that's why we're having this conversation. So the other part is to where you start thinking, if the type of content that you make supports it, is you start thinking, okay, since I am having some of my videos that are targeting search, I'm also going to have some of my videos that I make to where I'm paying really close attention every single day when I wake up. I'm in the news around the type of content that I make, and I'm looking for things. And if your content doesn't support this, I got something for you here in a minute too. But I'm looking for news every day around the type of content that I make to where I might be able to tap into it from a trends standpoint. Because what you do in that situation, if you make a video on trends, then you're increasing the likelihood of your videos being discovered because there's so much interest on that topic right now. So for example, PlayStation, if you're a gamer, PlayStation just did their big release. It got like almost 5 million views on that video in the past like 24 hours, I think it is, maybe 2 days. And there's buzz all over the place, and there has been for a while, but there's a lot of buzz right now about the PlayStation 5. So if you have a gaming channel and you do stuff on PlayStation, I would also have to where you're talking about the PlayStation 5, because the people that are playing PlayStation 5 or PlayStation games that are watching your channel because you're playing PlayStation games, those people are also going to be interested about the PlayStation 5, right? So then I would start thinking, okay, what am I going to do? I'm just using this as an example so you get the idea. PlayStation just put out this thing about, their announcement. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to react to their announcement, or I'm going to give my take on their announcement. I'm going to make sure that I title it in a way to where I'm talking about the PlayStation 5. Maybe I'm making I have PlayStation 5 in the title, and then I'm also adding some compelling things to it that might cause somebody to actually click on that specific title if it gets recommended possibly next to that PlayStation video that got 4 million views on it or 5 million views. Or other content creators that are also talking about the PlayStation 5 right now. But the win when you do target trends with what you're doing is it gives you the opportunity to where you're making content about something that just has a higher amount of interest in that particular topic at that point in time, right? So you're increasing the likelihood of you being able to tap into views. Now, when it comes to all of this, search, being able to show up, because you're talking about trends, that kind of thing. When it comes to all this, it's really important to understand that in order to really win at those things, you have to be able to write compelling titles and you have to be able to make compelling thumbnails, and your video content has to be good, because if your content is not something that people do enjoy when they start clicking on it, then YouTube is quickly going to move your video down on the priority list, and they're going to move another video on that same topic into the priority list in the spot where you were just in. Right. So because of that, you have to learn how to do those things. That's why the skill development side is so important. Now, let's say that you don't make content based on trends. Let's say you make content that's not necessarily like search based, and you're like, hey, I'm just going for, just mass exposure here. Then in that particular case, what you have to do is you have to learn. You just have to get really good at making titles and thumbnails and content that people respond to at a high rate. And you have to really think deeply, not just sitting back for 5 minutes and thinking, hey, how do I title and thumbnail this video so that people will click on it? But really thinking deeply about who it is that you're trying to reach so that you can make sure that you're communicating to them in the way that they're the most likely to respond to. Okay. So those things are some of the things you can do. Now we're going to keep going. So another thing that you can do if you're a brand new YouTuber and you're like, hey, I'm just trying to get views on my stuff, I just want people to see my stuff, is, and this is part of the long game that I was talking about before when we first started this conversation. But the next thing you got to think about is, okay, so if I'm making content about this thing, right? Let's say I'm making content about iPads. Right. Well, if I'm just starting an iPad channel and if I didn't have my channel as leverage, or if I didn't, have friends in the YouTube space where I could be like, hey, share this in your community feed. Then in that situation, what I would do is I would make a bunch of search-based content around this so that I could help people solve problems around the iPad. Right. Hey, I'm trying to figure out the iPad. How do I do this in the iPad? How do I do this in the iPad? And I would look for every single problem that people had with the iPad, and I would make solution videos on helping them fix that problem, right? Or helping them understand how to use their iPad better. When the new iPads came out, I'd be talking about, I make a bunch of videos about, it coming, these are the things that, hey, this content creator said this content creator said this. I'm compiling both. And I'm saying that, hey, these are the people that said that it's going to be awesome. These people said it's going to suck, whatever. I'd make that type of content. But at a higher level, I would also immerse myself in the communities around Apple products, so that I'm on Reddit and I'm constantly in there making posts about all the different Apple products. I'm interacting with everybody there. And the name of my Reddit account would actually be my YouTube channel name as well. And then I would also create a subreddit. We're going to go a little bit far on this one, but I would also create a subreddit, and that subreddit would also be based around my YouTube channel. So what I would do, because of Reddit's specific rules that they have in terms of where you can have one personal post in terms of personal, promotion, whatever, compared to 10 other posts that you make. What I would do in that situation, I would have my own subreddit based around my own YouTube channel, and I would make posts every single day into my subreddit to where I'm sharing other people's content about Apple products in there, to where slowly over time, I'm starting to turn my subreddit into a resource for people that are interested in Apple products. You could even be specific to iPads if you wanted to. And then what I would do is on the days that I posted my content, I would post it at the very top of that particular subreddit. And then I would go in and interact like crazy around Reddit, because some people will click on your new username. They'll see your recent posts, stuff like that. They'll actually look at your posts that you've made, which would then ultimately lead them to your subreddit over time. This is really long game stuff, right? And it's stuff that you would spend a lot of time on. But at the end of the day, that works. However, the thing that works better is compelling thumbnails, titles, and video content, because then you have the YouTube machine working for you instead of having to put out all of that physical labor and all that interaction. You still want to always immerse yourself in the communities around the content that you make, but if you can get YouTube to work for you, your benefits are going to be awesome compared to, spending all of the extra effort to try to just trickle people in, right? But then, in addition to what it is that you're doing on Reddit, I would also do the same exact thing with Facebook groups. I would interact with all the different Facebook groups around the Apple products as well. I would go on all the different forums around Apple products, and I would basically talk about Apple products everywhere all day long with everybody on the internet that I possibly could, in addition to naming my Twitter account the same exact thing as my channel as well, which would also be named something about iPads if I was just talking about iPads. And then on that specific Twitter account, I would be interacting with everybody who talked about anything about Apple. I would make sure that my Twitter account was also that I had in my profile, that I had my YouTube channel name or my YouTube channel link there. as well, so that people went there. They would see all the awesome information that I'm sharing about the Apple products or iPads in my Twitter feed. They would follow me on Twitter, and then they would click into my YouTube channel as well, because I would also post new videos into my Twitter feed also. So while you're doing all of those things, right, and you're doing all the hard work at first, while you're doing all of that, getting your content in front of, because you would also share your content in all those places as well. You'd share your content from time to time when somebody's talking about, hey, I just got an iPad trying to figure out how to use it. Any good YouTube videos? Hey, as a matter of fact, I got a video on how to set up your iPad step by step. And then you drop your video there and you'd get some influx that way. But basically the idea is, while you're doing all of this hard work, right, doing all that labor intensive stuff, you're also developing your skills on your YouTube channel in terms of writing compelling titles, which doing all of that interaction is going to help you do. Writing compelling titles, making thumbnails that are compelling, and making content that people, watch, because while you're doing all of this and you're doing that initial work of getting views to your channel and getting subscribers, while you're doing all of that, you're developing those skills and you're using the analytics from those people that are coming in that care about Apple products where you're sharing that content. You're getting that data from them on how they respond to what it is that you're doing, so that you can start fine-tuning your content around. And this is where it all comes together. So you start fine-tuning your content around how those people are responding as they're trickling into your YouTube channel. And then over time, you're going to develop a system of putting your content together to where you know that every single thumbnail and title that you make is going to get some type of positive response. Every single video that you put out is going to get some type of positive response, because you've based it around all those people that are coming in and the people that YouTube is showing your content to as well. But you're basing it around all those people that already care about the type of content that you make. And then you're fine tuning that content in a way to where once YouTube identifies, hey, all these people that are watching this are also watching all this other Apple content or iPad content or whatever. So because of that, their systems are going to go and they're going to find other people that use YouTube in that way, that watch that type of content, and they're going to start testing your videos next to other videos so that their systems can identify, what videos are appropriate to, show your videos next to, and things like that, to pull people into your channel. So in a nutshell, that was pretty long, but in a nutshell, like if you're just starting from zero, that's a way to do it. Ultimately, again, the big win is going to be just fine tuning what it is that you're doing on YouTube. But initially, if you don't have any activity, you got to get that activity going. And that's where that hard work comes in terms of spreading yourself a little bit thin. But by spreading yourself thin, you're getting your content in front of the right people, you're interacting in the right communities, and you are sharing your content when the opportunity presents itself. You're not spamming, just when the opportunity presents itself, you're sharing your content in those places where the people that are most likely to engage in your content anyway are hanging out, right? Because you're immersing yourself there and you're looking for those opportunities. So that's how you get the whole thing rolling initially. For tools and resources to help you with your YouTube channel, make sure you check the links in the description of this video. And to have your question answered live, join us Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern.